welcome to the channel. If you're not familiar, if you've never been here before, I'm Steve, and my channel is Shedlock 2000's Landrover channel. it was a Defender channel when I had one, and then we've cycled through a number of different vehicles since then. It's a bit of a long story, and I'm sure if you went back through the video logs you'll find out why. But anyway, I'm in now an L322. Actually, Danny the Disco's still on the drive, oddly enough, but I picked this Range Rover up here, this L322. I picked this up at an auction last week, and I've been doing various bits of things. Now you can see here, I've had some packages. This is actually, I've had many packages and more on bench here, but these are from Powerful UK, and I've been setting about the interior with some bulbs to make the interior brighter. And I have to say that the aftermarket stuff you can buy for the L322, the lights, the interior lights and things are much better than are provided with the stock vehicles. And it got me thinking really about why Land Rover do that, and I don't actually have an answer, to be honest. But on the new Defender and on Discovery even, interior lighting's tragic, it's terrible. And on the L322 here, it's a bit brighter and a bit better because they use these little chaps, these 194 capless sort of bulbs, and you can swap these out for Philips do a version of them, and the LED, and they're very good. And what I bought here from Powerful UK from Simon is a kit. He has a kit. Shout out to Simon, top banana, that chap. And I've bought a kit from him to do the old car, and I'm not going to make a video on it because actually it's not rocket science. When they come in the box you'll figure it out. The only thing I have got to tell you is that if you buy the kit, you'll get these little capless bulbs. I don't have one on bench at the moment, which is I've not planned that properly, but Simon has some LED capless bulbs, and on Autobiography they won't actually fit in the hole, so you've got to drill them out a bit. I get an 1/8 mil drill and drill out plastic bit a bit, and that'll fit them, and then they fit. But he does send a full kit of sort of click-in bulbs, and they're all sort of LED'd up already. But if you didn't want to go that route, you can pick up these Philips capless thing. I used to get Philips capless bulbs from a company here in town called Princess Auto, and they were quite inexpensive, and for some reason or other they've quadrupled in price, if not gone up even more. And I used to get two for about $6, and now they're two for $25. It's a bit hardcore really. And so Simon's kit, the reason I bought his kit is because his kit's a lot cheaper. You get the old kit, the whole lot, for $85, and it does like the footwells and the puddle lamps and the other things. The only thing I can't get at is and I haven't just figured it out yet, I'm sure there's a way, but the puddle lamps on door mirrors, I guess there's a way you get at them, but I haven't just figured it out without breaking them, so I haven't bothered. But anyway, that's what I've been on with. And what else I've got from Simon is I've got here, I bought some fancy fog lights, front fog lights, and Simon's got a large number of these in stock, different types and different models really. And this one here has got a daylight running light, and you can see from it the daylight running light is a bit like the main light. I haven't just figured out how what plug these in yet, because they've got an extra plug, you see, and I don't just know where to get feed from that from. But I'll have a look at Simon's fitting video, and then I'll have to do a video on fitting these. I wanted these because you want to get as much light out here as possible, because when you go out in bush, and I say bush, what I mean is mountains, but when you go out in mountains, it's amazing how much light is sucked up by the foliage and the trees and all that kind of stuff. And so lighting is really difficult, because if you just have standard lights, it's not enough somehow. Now I've got a big bar, you've seen it, that I don't Discovery, but Range Rovers, one of the downsides to having an L322 is I don't like them when they're sort of expedition spec'd, if you see what I mean. To me they don't look right. The Defender and the Discovery, they look sort of a bit like a sort of thing that you should fiddle about with, but the Range Rover doesn't, so I shan't be putting my big light in. What I am going to do, and this is the point of today's video, is I'm going to be putting these in. These are Osram Night Breaker Xenon lights. These replace the Xenon unit, the Xenon bulbs that's come standard, and I can't tell you what colour they are because it doesn't say on them, but by all accounts, I don't know that they're brighter, but they're sort of a bit, you get better distance, up to 250 metres more it says here, but I don't know how that works because they're not actually any brighter, at least it doesn't seem to say so on the box. They do have greater lumens, I suppose, so perhaps that's what they're talking about, but well, I don't know. Anyway, there's a little chart in here, and all the people on forums recommend these Osram D3S bulbs, and so that's what I'm going to be installing today, because as I said, in mountains it gets dark. Now I have ordered some LED lights for main beam as well, for brights as they call them over here, but they haven't arrived yet, so I'm just going to fit these, and I'm going to point out, when you see the video, I'll point out where the dip beam sits and where main beam sits, and then you'll figure it out yourself if you want to change them. The main beam bulb in these are a standard sort of halogen. I did have number, it's an H7 or H1 or something, I can't just remember, but I'll tell you when I do video on main beam. And you can get like more powerful, you can get 65 or 75 watt halogens, but that pushes the electrics a bit. So I've moved to an LED light, or will do when it comes, and I should be installing that. Anyway, one thing before I have to get going on this is I am going to be doing this box, which is also from Simon. These are the paddle shift, and I'm going to put paddle shift. I put paddle shift on me MY11 on Hastings, and I'm going to put paddle shift on this as well. I was going to do it before we went away this weekend, but I'm running out of time here. It's actually 1 o'clock morning when I'm recording it. It's another story. Anyway, so I've got these paddles. I've got to put that in, and I've got a patch lead coming from the mighty eBay. And I'll explain more about that when those bits come, because I'll knock a video up on how to do that. What I can tell you before we set to on these replacement lights is that Xenon lights, the Xenon system here, the lights have a sort of a capacitancy effect in them, and so it's very important that you don't change them directly after they come out, after they've switched off. I've popped bonnet and I've been rabbit in here while lights have been off, as they can see. But I would leave them at least 10 minutes before you start fiddling with lights after they've been on. Anyway, so that's it. That's basically all I'm going to do. It's only I keep getting some flack on comments that my 5-minute video is in the 5 minutes. Anyway, this is only a 5-minute video, is this? It'll probably be like 35 minutes, won't it? But it's only going to be a 5-minute video, this. I'm just going to show you how to change headlight bulbs. Basically, that's as simple as it is. I'm not doing anything fancy, but I dare say there's a number of folk out there as really want to just give give this sort of thing a bit of a go, rather than run it into a dealership to charge them an hour's worth of time for do it anyway. So there you go. So these are they. We're going to start fitting them in, and well, that's that. Right, and with that we'll crack to. Now it's very hard to see here, and one side's easier than the other. I'm actually doing it on the harder side to show you how to go about it, basically. But this is your dip beam. It's got a black cover on it with a twist lever on it, and this whiter thing here, that's your sort of that's your main beam, and you can reach in there and change that. That's a bit more awkward on this side, obviously, because of this water bottle. On the other side, you've got the radiator coolant expansion tank, and that sort of gets in the way a bit as well. But I've done it on this side because it's the most difficult, and you'll have to put up with camera being at a bit of an angle, because it's the only way I can sort of secure it on side at bonnet, and this is about it. Now, if you reach in with your left hand and you just give it a bit of a twist, sort of what would be anti-clockwise, then this comes out. Now, this has got a rubber seal on it because the lights themselves are actually sort of insulated. And what I do with these, I haven't done it yet, and I'll do it when I do the other ones, is I'll rubber just a bead of silicone spray around there just to give that seal a little bit of moisture so that it doesn't get hard and sort of crack up. And inside you'll see that silver box. Well, that's your light. It's very important when you fit these that you don't touch this glass. I think this is a well-known thing these days, but anyway, that's the story. And these bulbs are a D3S. For some reason on some of the forums they insist that they're D1S's, and I can't just tell you or explain why, because they're not. Maybe it's different on an autobiography. I can't just tell you. Anyway, in here, this box, this silver box, you can grab hold of it, it won't bite you, but you've got to twist this anti-clockwise as well. Now, it's important to recognise where the cable runs, because the cable plug comes in the bottom, which actually isn't the best place for them in terms of waterproofedness, but what do I know. And you kind of pull it out very carefully, with not putting your finger on the glass, because you want to use it or save it just in case you want to spare. Let that dangle down here. Remember, you can put this somewhere. You can see it's kind of misted up. It's on its way out, is this, and this bar here, whatever that is, that's cracked. So I don't know that there's much life left in that as it was anyway, but we'll pop that on the bench and then we'll get a fresh one. Now here's the fresh one, and you can see the bar is more parallel and further away. Now these are Osram's super duper fancy whatever it is, fancy Jimmy thing, and basically you just plug it back in the same way you took the other one out. You just pop this back in here, if it'll go like that, boink. And very carefully you just pop it back in and give it half a twist. It's a bit fiddly, and again you have to be careful not bang that bulb bit, because that bulb bit is the bit that's doing all the hard work, especially that little bit of, I don't know what it is actually, it's some sort of a cooling thing I would say here, but you can see it's got hot and it's burst there, hasn't it, somewhere along the line, and it's made a mark on the top. So I don't know whether that bulb's gone or failed or whatever it is, but anyway, that's that. And it's basically the same on the other side, and then you pop this cover back on in the same way you took it off, and basically that's it. Do make sure that it clips into place properly, because as I said, that rubber's got to have some purchase on the back of that light to keep it waterproof, or else when you're wading you're going to have water in your headlights. Now when you get, what I should have shown you, I didn't, but I shall now, is I just get a little bit of a cloth like this and this silicone spray, here it is, and I just put a very simple bead, just a tiny little bead here, just all the way around on that rubber seal. What this does is it kind of reinvigorates the rubber a little bit, and it provides a bit of an opportunity for the rubber to soak up a bit of silicone, and it sort of fills out the rubber a bit, stretches it a bit, so it sits a bit more nicely and a bit more complete. It also stops the rubber from drying out. Now what I do then is I just go around the edge with me thing, and I only just tap it so that the cloth, this shop towel, soaks up the residual, the standing fluid as it were, and then that's it basically. Now I should tell you, there's a top. Here's another thing, there's a top on this cover here, so make sure you get it the top, the top at the top. Anyway, that's it. That's all I've got to tell you really. Thank you very much for tuning in. It's always nice to have you on board, and it's always nice do a little short video. It's not quite 5 minutes, is it? But I guess it's as short as it'll get for me. I had this over at my pal's. He's got a big shop and some ramps, and it's easier for aid folk like me to walk underneath it is than screw them on floor on a crawler board. So had it up on the shop, and as you might expect, about 130,000 K, you're going to start seeing the front control arms, the big bushes there start to wear. And the ball joints are usually a bit better. They're usually all right for quite a bit, but the bushes start to wear, and they give up 130, 150,000 K. On this, the brakes are going to want doing fairly soon. I would say I'll have to do them sometime around summer. But the bushes and the control arm should do another good year or so. had it up on ramps and run up the engine and listened to everything. It's a little noisier than I'd prefer, but I had the stethoscope on it. And if you ever use a stethoscope, they're a bit of a funny thing because everything feels... I've always been hypersensitive. I once saw a bloke get his jumper wrapped up in a fan blade and it dragged him in and made a mess of him. So I've always been a bit sensitive of engine when it's running. And you put a stethoscope probe on the engine, and you got to put it on engine, and I'm frightened of it sort of bashing the thing and dragging it in. But anyway, I had stethoscope on, and there's no real chain noise. You can certainly hear the direct injector units for fuel. You can hear them tappity tap. Can't really hear any supercharger clunk, and there's no clicking and knocking. The chain's perhaps a little noisier than I would prefer on timing cover, but to be honest, I don't think it's that bad. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this oil. Taryn and I are off up to Radium Hot Springs for a weekend of hot springs. So we're going up there this weekend, and I'll run up. It's about 5,000 kilometres up, 500 kilometres up and 500 back. It's about 1,000 kilometres, and then I'll drain it, and then I'll put some fresh oil in. I'll keep filtering, and then I'll put some fresh oil in again, and then I'll run that 1,000 kilometres, and then I'll drop that, and then I'll put some good quality stuff in and a proper filter. I don't have much truck with them chemical flushes, to be honest. A lot of folks say they're fine, and I'm sure they are, but I'd prefer not use them, so I just sacrifice $60 worth of oil and take the hit. I do have to do the transmission service. These transmissions are sealed for life, but as everybody knows, the 6HP 26 and the 6HP 28 do have a known shudder issue, which is directly a function of improper and extended oil drain times. This should have been done really at about 75,000 as per ZF instructions themselves, but Landrover don't do it, and this is sort of twice what it should be, nearly. So I'm going to drop the oil, and then I'll put a filter in, and then I'll do the same again. I'll run that oil through, and then I'll drain that and run another oil through and leave that in then, and hopefully I'll get rid of the particulates. You can't really pull, at least I don't know how you can, but you can't really pull the oil out of the torque converter. I think there might be a siphon somewhere. Somebody might have a fancy machine to do it, but there isn't one around here, and there's nobody who's look after these gearboxes either. So where we are here in Alberta, if it gives up, then it's a fresh gearbox, and that's all there is to it really. So I'm going to try and swat some oil in it and see if I can't make it live a little longer, and then we'll see how we go with it. And if we need to put a new box in, I suppose we'll have to start looking for a new box from somewhere. But so if you ever wanted some direct correlation between long drain oils and seal for life and all that kind of stuff, then all you've got to do is look at the failure of these 6-speed gearboxes, and it's the same for the 8s. So just because you've got an 8-speed in your Disco or your Defender, don't think you're out of the woods either. They're sealed for life by Landrover, but the reality of the situation is it wants changing at 75,000 kilometres if you want to keep it forever. And if you don't want to keep it forever and you don't do it, all you're doing is passing a big headache on to somebody else. And if you can sleep with that, then that's you, but I can't, so that's the way I roll. Hence my rapid oil changes. Anyway, that's pretty much all I've got to tell you, to be honest. Thank you very much for tuning in. I suppose we'll catch you again on the next video, and do like and subscribe wherever I'll put that. I'll put it somewhere, my fancy subscribe button thing. And look at that, my LED light's telling me it's time to time out. And with that, cheerio.